All right, well, hello and welcome. This is Justin Kain with Team Real Vision, and today we're going to talk about South Bend, Indiana. We've got a lot of properties there, and I am looking to do more there in that awesome town. And 7 years ago, when I first started in the South Bend area, I had no idea what South Bend was all about. And so, literally, I knew that Notre Dame was there. I knew that the film Rocky, or not Rocky, but Rudy was filmed there. And I knew I'd heard about the town of South Bend, but I didn't know exactly where it was. So this is the government site for City of South Bend, and there's a lot of great information here. It's got a chocolate factory downtown. It's got a lot of really cool places. But let's just see where it's at in relationship. If we just Google South Bend, we're going to bring up a map here, and I'm just going to kind of expand out and show you where South Bend is if you think about in terms of the whole United States. It is right along the 80-90 route here, because it kind of comes right through and goes underneath Lake Michigan. So a lot of things combine here in this area. When I see things, I mean, you got 94, you got 90, you got 80 that all come in and combine here. And so here we are at the bottom of Lake Michigan. And you can see that South Bend, Mishawaka is pretty close to Chicago. It's about 90 minutes from South Bend to downtown Chicago. And you've got all of the huge infrastructure here for a major metropolitan area. And it's not that far out to South Bend. It's about as far from South Bend as it is to Rockford. But there's one huge difference. South Bend has a lot of infrastructure and a lot of jobs and access to Chicago, whereas Rockford, doesn't have all of those kind of things going on. So what we like to look for when we're looking for an area to invest in is an area with high rentals, with a lot of infrastructure, and with a lot of potential. And South Bend is, it's really right here. And so you can see the major arteries, South Bend and Elkhart, and a lot of the manufacturing that was here has gone away. But what they're doing is they're developing and they're moving new manufacturing facilities and positions and nanoelectronic technology, and we're going to talk a lot about that. And today I want to really separate into three different parts: the location of South Bend, the longevity of South Bend, the history, and why we believe that it's going to keep on being a great place to invest, and then also the population and the infrastructure that are here. So as we zero in a little bit further, this is the county seat of St. Joseph County, and it's far enough away. We're not talking about places like Gary. There are a lot of kind of challenged places on the south side of Chicago and kind of at the bottom of Lake Michigan, but South Bend is so close, literally, to the lake here that you can be in Michigan or at Lake Michigan within about 1 hour, and Michigan is even closer than that. So as we zero in here a little bit further, we're going to start to see how the infrastructure plays out. You've got a lot of different roads through here. South Bend actually has its own municipal airport, and literally it is a hub for FedEx. And so you can actually fly international into South Bend, which is pretty amazing. And at game time at the University of Notre Dame, a lot of people fly into this. I just found out that a guy flew from South Bend Airport to London yesterday. He was looking at some properties and some investments that we have. So as we zero in, we're going to kind of get the lay of the land here. And if you notice, it is cut in half by Business 31 or Main Street. And it's kind of cut in half by Western Avenue and then by Jefferson Avenue. And if you think about South Bend, we have separated it into 4 different quadrants. You got the A quadrant right around here, right next to the University of Notre Dame, and it's very, very it's very high end. This is the B quadrant, and B extends all the way out to Mishawaka. So you've got everything between Main Street and the river, and all the way over to Main Street in Mishawaka, and then all the way up. This is a huge mall right here off of Grape Road. You've got a brand new, huge interchange right here. So this place all the way around here is really really high end, and this is a very desirable area. Starbucks is right there. That's nice. And South Bend does have Starbucks. It has a Whole Foods. It's getting a Trader Joe's. So the stores are definitely moving in, and the different companies are definitely moving in there. And down here is what we call the C area. It's Homeworks Construction and Remodeling. That's very interesting. And Homeworks is one of the companies that we use to do a lot of our renovation work. And why don't we just click on that? Homeworks Construction is right there, and they've got a really nice setup, and they've been doing their work for a while, about 4 years now. And Homeworks Management manages our properties there, and we'll go into that more in just a few minutes. All right, then you've got this area, which is the D quadrant, but it is quickly becoming better and better and better. When we were first there, this was a very very challenged area, and the mayor Pete Buttigieg has really put a lot of time and effort into this area, and so we're seeing a lot of renaissance here, redevelopment, new coffee shops opening up, a lot of new homes. There was just an initiative where there was 22 scattered site brand new homes built in this area right around here, right around the downtown area, where they would take, and we even sold a couple of our lots, 320 LaPorte. We sold a few of our lots there, and one of our houses had burned down about 4 years ago, and so what we did is we collected the insurance money, demoed the house, and then the lot was vacant, and there was a couple of houses behind it that were vacant as well, and so a community group came in, got a grant, and is improving this area, and we'll go into that in just a second. But as we look here, I want to just say that the one of the main industries, probably the main industry in South Bend, is education, and it is a long-term industry here. I mean, you've got 7 different colleges and universities right here in this area. So, University of Notre Dame is one of the top, I would say, 5 nanoelectronic schools in the country, and we'll talk more about that when we get to Ignition Park and Innovation Park. It is an international research institution, and it is a highly, highly regarded. It's been around since the 1840s, and it's continued to expand, continued to thrive. And there are 3 different colleges on here. There's Holy Cross College, there's St. Mary's College, and there's the University of Notre Dame. And just one of the things that they're doing, they're building a $400 million addition to the stadium that is already there. And so as we look here closer, you get there's just a huge amount of building going on here as the university expands, and as they push south, and as they push east, because they really can't expand up anywhere beyond 80-90 right here. Now, one of the things that they just did is a couple of years ago they bought all of the old St. Joseph High School property, and they're turning that into University of Notre Dame campus. And they moved and built a brand new high school downtown South Bend, and tore down an old hospital to do that. A lot of different building going on there, and hopefully we'll be able to show you that more as we go through here. Now, that's the first 3 colleges. There's some other colleges down here. You've got the University of Indiana, or IU South Bend, and it comes across the river here. This is the student campus housing, and a great institution, Indiana University. This is a regional campus, but it is a large regional campus. Then there's Bethel College here, and this is a kind of a national known liberal arts college, and great college there, and actually right next to where Homeworks Management is. And so we've got houses scattered throughout this whole area. And then there are three other colleges. There is ITT and Ivy Tech. I'm sorry, two other colleges. Ivy Tech Community School and ITT Technical Institute here in the South Bend, Mishawaka area. And I think it's got down here. So that's the location. I mean, you've got a lot of really, really nice areas. You've got a river that runs through this. They've got a river walk that goes on in here. And so really, really good, very, very solid town with a lot of growth potential. So let's talk about some of that growth potential. You know, it was in the early 1900s that a company called Studebaker was here, and they built a lot of different infrastructure. Elkhart, the sister city here, is right. You know, it's one of the RV capitals of the world. Manufacturing. You know, the Box-Selmer company used to be here that made musical instruments. A lot of really, really high-end manufacturing jobs. And what happened was a lot of those went away. And so what South Bend and St. Joseph County and Notre Dame have put together are a dual park called a dual business park. So it's Innovation Park, and this is right across the street from Notre Dame, and I'll show it to you here. So if you remember, the Notre Dame, you know, is a world-renowned research institution, and so once students come here and they complete their undergrad and then their master's and PhD, the idea was, hey, let's give these students, these bright young minds, the ability to put their good ideas to work right away. And so Innovation Park is a business incubator park that really, really brings about what we want to classify as, you know, the next wave of technology and the next wave of computing and the next wave of design and manufacturing, which is, you know, going smaller and smaller from a molecular level to a nanotechnology level. And that's what Innovation Park does. Then once that business is incubated, you go over here to Ignition Park, and as we have seen, what South Bend did, and what the what St. Joseph County did is they really took over all of the old Studebaker manufacturing facilities. They knocked them down. This was back 7-8 years ago, back in the early 2005, 6, 7 era. And you know what they're doing is they're building a technology park in South Bend. And it's a very, very brilliant idea to bring technology to the South Bend area and to bring those jobs to the South Bend area. And so we really believe that not only is Indiana as a state a forward-looking and user-friendly, business-friendly state, but South Bend and St. Joseph are the same way. They're looking out over the next 50 to 100 years and saying, what do we need to do in order to be prepared? And we could go on for a long time about the dark fiber. You know, this kind of sits right on top of internet. I guess you'd call it, you know, one of the main lines of the internet. So it's very fast internet. They've got 4 different electrical power stations around South Bend. So you've got plenty of redundant power and lots of the ability to, you know, form a large infrastructure. And so as technology never goes away, as education never goes away, the jobs that used to power the city have changed, but are definitely moving in the right direction. And so you've got a lot of different ways that South Bend is moving and wanting to become a more regional player. And they're building a 16-story hotel right now, and so that's right downtown. A group, Blackstone Equity out of New York, just purchased one of the largest buildings downtown South Bend and is doing a complete renovation of that. And so there's a lot of things going on in South Bend that really, really are exciting, and very, very happy that those things are happening. But as we get down to a more granular level, we've got to figure out how HomeWorks will manage the properties that we're going to be looking at. So when we purchased, let me just So when we purchased the properties back in 2009, we purchased 49 properties, and we have started to go through and fix up those properties. And eventually, 3 years later, we merged our company into HomeWorks, and now HomeWorks manages in the neighborhood of 900 properties in the South Bend area, and is a very, very stable management company. And so all of the you can see here all of the different properties that are listed, and we are excited that there aren't that many properties. They run at about a 5% vacancy, anywhere between 3 and 5% vacancy, and about a 2 to 3%, sometimes less, collection. So they're 97 to 100% collecting, and those are great numbers on a property company like this. So they've been around for almost 15 years now. I've been working with them directly for 4 years, indirectly for 6, and just a great company to work with. And then as we get into the properties, here's a property that is currently listed for sale, and it is. Let's just see some more photos here. This is just a regular property, 236 Fox, and this is one of our rentals. And you can see here that it's a very, very normal house, clean, perfect for a rental. And if I go to YouTube, I can actually watch this. It's a 2-minute and 15-second video. And what we've done is we've taken recordings of the property and posted them on YouTube. And so this is really one of the cool things about working with a professional property management company is I didn't take this video. Certainly was it was taken for me as a property owner, and I was able to
separated
just
dining room and
look
living
at
room.
it and make
To the right is
make a
bedroom
judgment.
number 1.
Yep, this looks good, and then they posted it, and so now we never have to redo that, and people can look here online and see, hey, yeah, I'd love to live in this house. So one of the great things about working with
back into the living room,
working with HomeWorks is that we've got a professionally managed portfolio
off the back,
so
and the bath.
I'm going to pause that right there. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that everybody who is looking at this portfolio of properties that we've got available in South Bend has access to this information. And if you want to get more information, please certainly give me a call, and I would love to be able to talk to you. I am a licensed broker here in the state of Illinois, but I would love to be able to hook you up with a licensed broker in Indiana and set up a tour for these properties. So thanks, everybody. That is South Bend in a nutshell.